Any questions from last week? There's no questions from last week, so everybody on. Where did we drop off from last week? We went over the spirit and the soul, right?
Yeah, you're going over the spirit, the soul, and the manifestation, the Shakti, like as a Shakti consciousness.
Yeah.
We went into all that.
Okay. So, this week we'll start off with we'll go back to the Vak. Okay. Vak is what?
It's the first spoken word.
It's the initial spoken word, right?
Spirit.
What's unique about Vak?
Brought forth
Parasound.
Somebody said it brings forth. It's a parasound, you said?
Sanskrit is Nada Shakti.
Hmm?
In Sanskrit, isn't it Nada Shakti?
Yeah. What else? Anyone else? Well, AUM is an aspect of that, yes.
What's the second point? It is parasound. It's from Bach that the four aspects of creation come out of it, right?
Yeah, that's a parasound. Turn to the second page, you'll see some more notes on it. Somebody want to read that for me?
Shakti, the subtle background power of manifestation. Understanding the Tantra science, cosmic energy, and consciousness. It's by columns, right?
The second column is Vak.
All right. The subtle and etheric manifested power of creation. That's the release of the Shakti power. We call it Vak, the release of the initial creative word. Vak is a pure sound vibration that pushes Shakti power into multi-levels of existence. Vak, when Vak releases the Shakti power, it has many aspects to it, an endless expression, such as Vak itself as Shakti, Nada as Shakti, Shakti as karma, Shakti as mind, Shakti as Vijnana or knowledge or wisdom, Shakti as prana or universal energy, Shakti as love, Shakti as the Bhutas, Shakti as Tattva.
Okay. So that's what Vak is. So this becomes an essential part of yoga, right? When you think about that. Because why? How do we use Vak? Huh?
We're trying to find the silence within.
We use it in mantra. We use it in what else? Everything we do. So we definitely use it in mantra, right? And we use it in everything. Why is that? Huh?
It is everything. Creation itself.
Because what does Vak do? Vak allow us to do what? To hold what? Hold consciousness and manifestation. Consciousness manifestation is held by what? Consciousness. Right? Be in existence if you didn't have a consciousness. So, because consciousness, without consciousness, you are unmanifested and manifested, as the soul is. So, Vak is essential to any type of yoga. Go ahead and let's look at the Shakti. Yeah.
Shakti power comes into operation. Shakti power expresses itself as nada, a creative, subtle sound vibration that molds and shapes and directs all levels of the manifested existence of the Shakti power. Shakti power creates a background matrix for the Shakti operations that we call the Shakti principle, which acts as pressurized points of karmic signals that conforms manifestation. The four principles of Shakti is Vijnana as the karmic intelligence of Shakti, Chitta as the universal mind of Shakti, Prana is the fueling quality of Shakti, Ananda is the blissful quality of Shakti that preserves manifestation.
Okay. Go back to the first page and read the principles of Shakti.
Principles of Shakti. Shakti as Vijnana. This is the Shakti power that places the karmic framework of intelligent movement. It imposes the wisdom of the divine law of karma behind, around, and within all manifested creation. Shakti as Chitta or mind. Chitta, mind substance, is the aspect of Shakti that is used to form an endless, undividable field/realm of creative universal mind substance, which is used as the background substance for all manifestation. Shakti as prana, or cosmic energy. Prana is an all-pervasive energy that accompanies the universal mind substance that acts upon the divine directives laced within the creative universal mind substance or Chitta. Its creative movement under the karmic laws given to it by Vijnana and Chitta mind, the Shakti principles. And then Shakti as Ananda, energy that preserves. Ananda, bliss and love. This Shakti principle has a preservative quality that allows the Vijnana and Chitta mind principles to preserve creation in a series of karmic time cycles.
So everybody understand that? Everybody get the flow of how that works?
That's the order from which it's like.
That's the order in which it works.
That's a woman.
Hmm?
That's a woman.
That's a what?
Woman.
No. it's a, in the Hindu, they like to call it a female power, but it's actually a universal energy that's released from the absolute or Shiva state of creation. Shiva state of creation is unmanifested, right? Because it has no beginning. So therefore it has no end, therefore it was never created or manifested. The Shakti aspect is manifested because it comes out of the endless potential of Shiva. So in the, a lot of time in the Hindu and the Buddhist faith, they make the mistake and list Shiva as a positive or male aspect, right? Well, it's correct and then it's incorrect because we know that Shiva or a male aspect is both what?
Male, female, neither.
Even the scientists have realized this. It's male, female, and neither or neutral. So we can say male, female, and both, right? Because that's what type of energy or substances that this is. Now, of course, in most languages, if you say mankind, you mean who? You mean everybody, right? So I think that's what they was trying, because out of Shiva came the female aspect, which is the creative. Which is a negative aspect, which is a preservative aspect, right? Which the main purpose of Shakti is to preserve and by manifestation.
Subconsciously in society.
What? This is what?
This is stuff we do subconsciously in society that we're not aware of.
Yeah, I mean, this is the background of our existence. But, I mean, when we start studying, this is metaphysics, in other words. When we start studying energy flow, then we have to understand this. Because all this is about energy. And energy cannot happen without consciousness, in a sense. So if you look at Shiva as God. It had no beginning and no end, it was always there. And it was in a static state of endless potential, right? Unmanifested. But then, for some reason, it wanted to manifest just a little dot of itself, which is the universe. And it brought forth Shakti. So that's how you have to look at it. And with Shakti, Shakti is the background of everything. Everything is Shakti. But the thing about Shakti constantly modifies itself into many, many things. The same way the scientists found that the atom is the atom. Only thing it does is reconfigure itself within the electronic magnetic spectrum in order to express itself in many ways. So Shakti is the same thing in a sense. Shakti is that power that was released from the Absolute or God that molds and shapes itself into all different type of things. And how does it do that? According to the ancient teachings, it brought about, because of course the ancient teachings say that from Shiva came Vak, the initial spoken word, which was not a physical word or physical voice the way it was a parasound. It was an unmanifested sound, more of a vibration. And when it came forth, it released this thing called Shakti. And then Shakti went forward and modified a framework in order to work within. That framework that it modified in order to work within was the karma, the karmic framework. It was the nata, the vibration. It was the principles of Shakti, which he just read, and then it was the Mahabhutas, and all of these are like the subtle chromosomes and DNA of the cosmos, because everything goes back to Shakti, and everything goes back to Shiva. Everything operates on Shakti, and everything returns back to Shiva. It goes back to that endless potential. Okay?
So block is that first shot.
Yeah. It's that first movement. In fact, when you practicing any type of yoga or magic or so-called magic, that's what you use. You use Vak in order to manifest something, because it has to is a directive coming from your soul, right? And your soul give it to your consciousness, and your consciousness, your soul is the will. Your consciousness become another. The super consciousness is another aspect of the will, because it's the consciousness of the soul, because the soul doesn't have a consciousness, but it's a vehicle that the soul uses. And based on your karma, your subconscious mind, which is like a great karmic diva within you, and then down to your conscious mind, you give a directive. And from that, your auric field produces the image that you want to manifest. And it began to manifest itself through your auric bodies, and then eventually through your fingers, through your mind, through your whole makeup, and then after a while you have that thing. It's just not you come up with a design and that's it. No, there's a whole subtle thing that's happening, that's coming about, and that's the Vak from that initial thought. And then it manifests itself throughout all your bodies. And then you are given the knowledge, the wisdom, the drive in order to build it, whether it's a chair, a car, a house, or whatever, right? And now the yogis who can manipulate energy and manipulate matter, eventually they can just call the atoms into place and manifest that thing. Once they have...
They have to respect it, because if not, you can't just mess around with it.
No. It have to be under the law.
There are higher, I guess I would say, powers.
Well, as long as they within the law of karma, they can do it.
To a certain extent, though.
No, as long as it's under the law of karma. Karma dictates everything. So if karma allows them to manifest a house, they can manifest a house. If karma doesn't allow them to manifest a house, they can't manifest it, in other words. Okay, go ahead and go on.
Which one do you want me to read now? The Mahabhutas?
You can read the second one. I mean the third one. Right here.
Oh, we're still in All right, the subtle, etheric, astral, and physical manifested power of creation. Shakti power expressed on the cosmic level of existence are known as the supreme lords of creation. The one within the center, the 7 central suns, the 91 galactic lords, the greater lords of creation, which are the galaxies, the supreme lords of karma, the 900 trillion solar logi, the solar systems, the countless trillions of worlds. I continue?
Yeah, go to the next one.
The mighty sun, the solar lords, the manipulators of the rays, the Vishnu lords. Then there's the solar rays, which can consist of chitta, pure sacral universal mind substance, nada, a pure sacral subtle sound vibration, tapvik, the tapvik rays, they're sonic modes of vibrations, the mahabhutas, or the 5 universal cosmic elements, and prana, which are the 5 subtle cosmic energies. These are all, I don't know how to relate, but they're vehicles of solidified sunlight.
Yes, because behind all physical matter, you have chitta, mind, you have nata, you have the tavic rays, you have the mahabhutas, and you have the pranas. And then you can have physical manifestation. You understand?
Yeah, so the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So chitta, universal mind, passes through all of these and still remains in a pure state.
Yeah. Why? You don't know why?
It's operating within the law.
Huh?
It's all operating within the law.
Yeah. It's it's in a Shiva what? It's in a Shiva state which produce a what? A positive / balance. What? No one? Huh? Negative state. You see that? What is the sun? What do we call the sun in Sanskrit? Mahabindu. And what is, Maha is what? Bindu is what? Yeah, it's a point of consciousness, but when they describe it, when they describe the Bindu, they call it a what?
Germ.
It's a spiritual germ. Right? What does that tell you?
That it's connected to
They-
Shiva.
They just don't say germ, they say a spiritual germ. So spiritual refers to what?
Isn't that the divine spark of Shiva?
It talks about pureness. And then when you go deeper into the Bindu, they say that the Bindu is a compaction of what? I said it 1,000 times. A compaction of what? It's a compaction of Shakti power. Because why? It moves the raw Shakti power. It's a vortex that moves the raw Shakti power from where? From a higher source. The same way the Bindu within us moves Shakti power from where?
The chakras above it.
Huh? From the Mahabindus. What 3 Mahabindus we move the Shakti power from? And they are what? They're much higher sources than us, right? Millions of years above our senior, right? Millions of lifetimes, not years. Billions of years, but millions of lifetimes I've seen it. We pull on the Tavic rays, the Mahabhutas, the prana from a higher source, and our Bindu within each chakra uses that to do what? To manifest consciousness. Okay? So it's a pure, it's not until man, right? Remember what we said? What is that?
That's mind modified by man's.
Right. So when the chitta, when the mind substance come through us, we do what to it?
It becomes impure.
Yeah, we contaminate it. We distort the mind substance. Because why? Because we do not follow what? The divine laws of karma. So that's what bring about the distortion in our lives and in our environment. You know, that's why energy, you know, that's why we have a buildup of negative plus or negative to the 10 power negative energy around us because of this. See? Now, if we took that energy from the sun, from the earth, from the moon, and we followed the divine laws, our world would be totally different. Our consciousness would be totally different. But since we distort it, we have this. We have this gross physical plane of existence that we're trapped in. We created our own prison for ourselves. Okay?
So even the chitta is modified by the sun, the moon, onto their bodies, it still remains pure because they operate within the law.
Yeah, they operate within the law. They never go outside the law. You know what
So
I'm saying?
purity refers to freedom or free will. Is that? Purity refers to freedom or free will. Within the law are the
Yeah,
law.
yeah, in a sense, because see, what's pure on level 1 is slightly different from level 2, but yet it's the same. And the same thing with level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. The law works the same, but it have to operate within that framework. The law is the law. You understand? It's the frequency that you're on. So the job that the supreme laws of creation have is different from the job that the mighty sun have. Right? But they're still using the same energy. Okay? In a pure manner. So you get it?
Can you list, does Shiva say there's positively balanced negative?
All-
Is it because it's subtle?
No, all creation is a negative energy. All right?
Because it's Shakti.
Yeah, it's in a negative state. Right? But it's, when I say positive, it's positive because why? It's working within the what?
Law.
The law of karma. Okay, so, you want to push on? So we kind of just talked about this. The sun has this great energy, and that, what does it do? It makes it available for the solar system. The lords of Vishnu, which in the ancient we call them, in modern times they call them the solar lords. They manipulate this energy on the behalf of the sun, and they push this energy out to all the planets, right? And it is this energy that you study science. If you study science, you'll learn what? Science teaches you, what do they call it? In chemical bonding, electronic configuration. Anyone remember that in college?
Like the orbitals of the electron.
Yeah. And what does that tell you? That if a color of something is brought about by what?
Chemical bonding.
The amount of
By
energy.
chemical bonding, by electronic configuration. Because why? Because the electron, you see, you have the nucleus here, and you have the electron out here. You have the nucleus, which is a proton or neutron, and it circles, right? The nucleus, and then you have what?
What are the,
You have the electron. You have the electronic magnetic spectrum, right? And an electron, depending on where that orbit intersects that electronic magnetic spectrum, it produces what? Color, texture, all that. So they kind of tell us how things are brought about in a solidified state by the electronic configuration of things. You had a question?
what are the laws? Are they in this booklet?
The what?
The laws?
What, the divine laws of karma?
Yes.
Divine laws of karma is everything around you. It's gravity, is as you sow, so shall you reap, which in thermodynamics is called what? Action and reaction is opposite but equal. So those laws that scientists discovered, so-called discovered, which was really on the books for thousands of years, is the laws of karma. You know, anything that's manifested must have a definite end. Anything that you bring into existence, you know that it has a calculated end, right? So those are laws of karma. Laws of karma all around us. And then you have dozens of books written on the laws of karma too, or karma and reincarnation, they like to call it. But there's dozens and dozens of laws. But one of the best definitions I heard was a couple of definitions. One, Jesus said, "As you sow, so shall you reap," which I just said that. Another one that Dr. George King said, he said, karma is pressure towards conformity, right? And that's one of the best ones I heard so far, really, because everything in life is being pressured from many, many different variables in order to conform, in life, in order to move forward and produce something. Whether that's a positive thing or a negative thing for itself or the environment, but everything is being pressured towards doing that. So,
A lot of those things you can feel.
yeah. You feel yourself being driven somewhere. You feel yourself being told to do the right thing or not to go this way, because that's your karmic makeup. Everyone has a karmic makeup. Okay, so the solar lords push that energy out, just like I told you, and from that comes all the different realms of existence that we can live within. And I kind of list them on the side there. You want to read that?
This one?
On the next, you read that already.
Manifestation.
Okay, manifestation. So these are the vehicles of solidified sunlight, mind substance and mental states of consciousness, the pranic realms of existence, the vibrational realms of the divas, ascended realms of existence, the etheric realms of existence, the astral realms of existence, the physical realms, the mineral kingdom, the plant and vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the human kingdom.
So all those things are brought about because of these energies, this radiated back out to us. Also, just to look at this, I'm not going to really go into it, but this is the visible light and invisible light, and it correlates with the colors of the chakras, because the chakras are what?
Realms of consciousness.
What?
Realms of consciousness.
Is realms of consciousness. And so therefore, everyone, when they think about a chakra, they automatically go and think about some spot on their body, when really it's all around you. And it's your way of tapping into these solar rays. Yeah, the Tavic rays. Because the Tavic rays itself is what?
It is the realm.
It is the rims.
It constitute the realm.
Yeah, it's the
The
thing.
fabric of the realm.
It's the fabric of the rims. So the chakras are really states of consciousness that we move in and out of, all right, in order to formulate our personality and our existence, whether on this plane, an astral plane, an etheric plane, or a mental plane. Okay? So, I mean, study that when you have a chance. And the fact that with the spectrum, only a small portion of the spectrum is actually visible to us should tell you something. The scientists are beginning to realize this, and now they even brought about some maybe like 10 or 12 years ago, I don't know, I know it became popular then. They came up with the theory of everything. And the theory of everything actually have them talking about multiple dimensions now, so-called, or multiple realms. So when you,
See the future?
huh?
Or you can see the future?
No, not like that. What they saying that, which the yogis and the Hindus, the Buddhists, the yogis, even the mystic Christians said thousands of years ago, that we live in multiple realms of existence, meaning that right now, in this physical location, if we were able to split our consciousness up and go on an astral realm or etheric realm, we might be on the top of a mountain, on that realm, or in the middle of the ocean. But all the realms are taking up the same space. They just on a different frequency of mind and physical substance. So now with this, even the scientists are coming to think that with the theory of everything, they beginning to try to accept these metaphysical principles. In fact, they have a video out on it, a DVD, if you want to.
Create a tool.
Huh?
Create a tool. Well, that's how they've been invented. That's how everything's been invented. With this information in the ancient times.
Yes. They go and look at the information and try to figure out the mathematics behind it. So if you want to study that stuff, go ahead. Okay, now the next page. Yeah, you have a question?
Does each realm have its respective electromagnetic spectrum?
Each realm, yes, it does. It does, because that's another, maybe I can go into that. I told you all that though before, didn't I? Can I go into that before?
Yeah.
You have the sun, right? And the sun pushed these rays out. And you know within the rays you have the Tavic rays, you have the Nata, you have the Nata first, and then you have the Tavic rays. And you have the Bhutas, right? And you have the Pranas, right? Of course you have the Chitta, and the Chitta comes before the Prana, or the mind. Let's say the mind substance. So all this goes out and it makes you the realms. Now, the thing about this is that around the earth, you have these layers and layers of rims, right? Now, the high rims receive that light or energy from the sun easily, right? The lower rims do not. So there's a different configuration for the lower rims because of that. So scientists already realized that we only get what, 50%, right? Of the rays from the other 50% is what? Reflected. Is reflected by ocean, mountains, it's reflected. Now, the lower rims, the lower hells that we created, is fed the Tavic rays. It's still fed Tavic rays. But what type of Tavic rays is fed? Anyone knows? Huh? Minus. Which means what? Yeah.
It comes from our thoughts, from our beliefs.
It comes from us. The Tavic rays that the lower realms receive is modified Tavic rays that comes from our thoughts and actions. So the energy comes through us from the sun,
But let me ask you a question.
and it's pushed out into the other realms to feed them. Yeah.
You say those energies we feel are because of our thoughts,
It's because of what?
of our thoughts,
What energies?
what you just said.
I'm talking about the lower astral realms, like heavens or hells. The energy comes through us, and it feeds those realms of existence. You have multiple realms of existence. Some people like to say, well, you have seven, you have seven hells. It's similar to that, but really not that, because you have hundreds of heavens and hundreds of hells here on earth. But you have seven major heavens and seven major hells.
Which is a positive and negative of the chakra.
Well, it's the hells start from, in fact, I have it on there. Look on that, what page is that?
This one is 5.
5, look on page 5. In perspective. On page 5, you'll see where you have,
You have this one on page 7 too.
yeah, on page 5 and 7. On page 5, it's just a diagram. On page 7, it's written out, right?
Yes.
You have the 7 lower astral realms, and then you have the basic realms, and then you have the etheric realms, which is the 7 higher realms. So if you, in ancient science, it tells us that the chakras is our realms of existence, is our consciousness. That's how we live. That's how we think. That's how we move around. Well, the chakras within the legs is actually the hells. It represents the lower realms. And the chakras above that represents the higher realms. The first 3 chakras represents the basic realms. And then the chakras above the solar plexus center represents the higher realms.
So if you wanted to switch, or just go from, I guess, negative to positive of one of them, would breathing be the technique used?
No, not necessarily. Now, understand that there's positive and negative, okay?
Which would be the heavens and the hells?
I'm saying even in hell, you have positive and you have negative.
Well, it's all progress.
Yeah, but it's positive and negative for that particular realm. They only there because of their deeds. They're not there to suffer. You know, they're there because they place themselves there. Okay? And it's just a road, a pathway to progress, in other words. So it's not that they're going to be there for forever. No.
Unless you equate the progress is to figure out how to heal.
How to get better. You're right. Right. So let's say someone goes to hell. They may have to go to hell maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, or 100 times until they get it right.
Because it comes back when you get
They are reborn over and over and over.
And then what? And then whoop.
Yeah, they
Like, and then
they are reborn over and over and over and over and over again. You know, even the people who go to the so-called heaven, they are reborn over and over and over and over until they get it right. You know, until they can take their consciousness out of the what the Hindus call samsara, out of the wheel of rebirth, the way they ascend, the way Jesus did, the way Sri Krishna did, the way Buddha did. They ascend to a point where they no longer have to be reincarnated in a conscious state.
because it's agreed in the karma state.
Because they have purified themselves, that they have no negative residual energy like to force them back into reincarnation. They have purified their mind, their bodies, and they have synchronized their whole existence towards the divine law.
But you're always tested to come back.
Well, not at that point. At that point, they move on. They move on because why? Because they live and they think and live within a law, which they never do anything outside of the law of karma. It's sort of like, although it's hard for us to understand this, it's sort of like the seasons of the earth or the rotation of the earth around the sun. It follows a law. And the earth never goes out of that, you know, that orbit. It's all synchronized to a law. The sun radiates its energy according to the law. It never breaks the law. Well, when Jesus came to earth, Jesus worked within the law. That's why Jesus was able to incarnate into our life cycle and step out and ascend in one lifetime. Because why? He followed the law. Same thing with Buddha.
He was killed. He was crucified.
No, but he brought that. Read the story. He brought that about. He created those events. He made that all happen. He made it happen. He manipulated the people around him so that they can kill him, so that he can ascend, so that he can reverse everything they did. He used their negative energy to bring about a positive thing, which counseling, it actually cancelled out everything they was trying to do. He was a great manipulator. Say the same thing with Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna did the same thing. Buddha did the same thing. Zoroaster did the same thing.
But
Oh.
there's a way that they can that people do it nowadays, but then they release it when they come back.
They release it when they come back. Jesus don't have to come back. Jesus raised above the cycle of reincarnation. Because first he never really had to come here anyway. He only came here to help mankind, to alter history, in other words, to alter the history of the direction that man is going. See? Okay, where were we? The realms. Oh yeah.
How to go to heaven on one of these realms.
Huh? How to do what?
How to go to heaven on one of these realms.
Learn astral projection or etheric projection. So you all understand that this Manas Tavik or Tavas actually feeds the lower astral realms. So that's why Dr. George King said there's very little sunlight that get down. That's why he said that.
Is it our level of consciousness that, I'm sure the answer, that dictates the spectrum we perceive? Like, for example, we
Yeah, of course.
hear AM and FM radio waves, we don't,
Yeah.
even though we feel like X-rays, we can be burned by gamma rays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the same thing, like, on Friday, I was telling this guy, the other room was not good.
The what?
The other room we were in, when I came for the first time, was not good at all. This one's a lot better, still kicking my butt. Hurt. So, I mean, it is getting better, that's why I keep asking. I hear you know your stuff.
So on this we talking about the 4 aspects of sound, the 4 states of sound. Did you read this already?
No.
Go ahead and read this.
Start at 4 or start at 1?
Start at the bottom.
Okay, power sound? Oh, okay. Kundalini is the vehicle of consciousness for the soul, where it experiences an involved conscious awareness in the time cycle of past, present, and future, which is split conscious awareness. Kundalini is the motionless causal sound in the base of the spine. It produces the first sound, which is para sound, unmanifested motionless sound, the Shiva state of creative consciousness that manifests the endless potential of life. Then there's Pashyanti sound, or the first manifested movement of sound as powered consciousness for generating energy patterns that moves forward to build vehicles of expression. Then there's Madhyama sound, the subtle aspect of sound that unlocks the intelligent signatures and signals of sound consciousness that builds all the subtle bodies, mental, pranic, etheric, and astral bodies. And then there's Vaikari sound, the subtle gross sound which moves subtle energies and the mental thought forms into gross vehicles of expression as bodies and sounds. The first sound is through the Muladhara, the second sound is through the solar plexus, right?
Right.
The third sound goes through the heart, and the fourth sound goes through the throat.
So in Tantra and in Tantra Satra, Mantra Satra, or in the Hindu, they talk about this sound. This sound is the celestial sound of what?
Shiva.
Kundalini.
Okay.
In its Shiva state. Okay, in its meditative state or dormant state.
This is the sound that comes about
Once it goes into the
Dormant.
3.5 knot.
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah. Once the Kundalini goes into 3.5 knot, it releases this sound. And what this sound have done, if you look at the pattern of it, what it does, it brings about what we call embodied consciousness. Okay? Before then, the soul is a bodiless consciousness. And then once it ties the Kundalini up, it becomes embodied, right? And it lives out in the subtle and physical bodies for eons upon eons upon eons upon eons until you break that wheel of rebirth. Okay. Now, the other part of the diagram shows the Mahabindu's energy that the soul uses, and the other part of this shows the different realms, the Sanskrit names for the realms of existence, and then it shows the the different granting knots that's tied, that brings about, that help holds his consciousness into place. Okay, you have the different the Rucha granting knot, the Vishnu granting knot, which is from the Mahabindus. Okay. For your own purpose, the next page, it talks about it a little bit more if you want to go into it. The seventh chart actually goes into how once the embodied consciousness is brought about, it talks about the realms, all the different realms of existence or major realms of existence connected to the chakras. I didn't list the lower chakras, but I just gave you the names of them in the leg region. And then the upper chakras to show you where the chakras are and what type of energy is ran through those chakras. And then I give you a scale to look at the energy flow again and the number of Tavic rays and the associated pranas and associated Mahabindus and the petals that the nadis run through. Now you got to remember that the nadis, the different petals is where the 242 nadis run through, okay? The 242,000 nadis run through each petal. And when it runs through there, then it has to manipulate the different Tavic rays in order to bring about that state of consciousness, all right? And the energy formation as well. On the eighth one, I show here the different levels of consciousness, all the way to the far. Read that in pink.
The base of the spine, that's the start of consciousness. The sex center, that's the seat of consciousness. The solar plexus center, that's the first movement of consciousness. The heart center, that builds meaning to the movement of consciousness, to the formation of the subtle bodies. And the throat chakra, at this level, the consciousness manifests itself as one basic thought, 2 physical body, and 3 gross speech.
Okay. And basically that's it with the diagrams. Here I show the location of all the major chakras that's associated with you. Any questions?
Diagram with all 108 chakras mapped out, or?
No, I haven't. Well, no, I haven't. I think the most I've seen was like 70.
70?
Yeah, 79, I think. So next week we'll go into the Constitution of Man more.
The Tattva Mahabuddha
Mm.
at the Christ Center.
Where?
What could we?
What page you looking at?
Page 7.
Mm. The what now?
At the
Mm-hmm.
What kind of element is that?
It's not an element.
It's
Is the top? It's the tavic ray. It's a command center that manipulate all levels of consciousness.
not. So that's what's broken down to make the ether and the air. Where are you reading?
On the chart,
Oh, okay.
where it say the Mahabhutas,
Could these elements be related to kinetic qualities? Like the fire also be lightning.
yeah, it's just, yeah. Remember, it's all etheric. You know, it's really cosmic. Is that
It's the energy behind that.
is the energy behind everything else.
Okay.
Is it like, you know, like I said, it's more of the DNA of things or the genes or, you know, it yeah, it creates the matrix to allow everything else to work.
So it's more of a quality that element represents. So like solid is solidification, nature final forces, it talks about quantum is perform a particular function.
Yeah, I mean, in Nature Final Forces, they talk about it. What they do, Nature Final Forces give you, it goes more, Nature Final Forces, which it does, and to me, it kind of, I don't want to say do a poor job, but I know he was struggling with the language, or at least whoever translated it into English language was struggling to understand what he was talking about in his language. Right. The translators, I don't think they did a good job. But what they what they was talking about is and a lot of times the mode of motion, right? So it's a configuration or the matrix that it actually make, and then everything else live within that. In other words, it's the same way the sun push out is solar plasma that we can't really see, right? But the whole solar system is floats on that fabric of solar plasma that the sun put out, and that's how we exist. You know, so that's what the energy is for us. You know, the auric body, the soul creates this auric body, and then everything lives within that auric body, all the bodies. If any one of those bodies fall out of the aura, then that body can't exist. You know, because our real atmosphere is our aura. It's the auric body that we live in. Of course, we live in the atmosphere of the earth, but the primary atmosphere that we depend on is our auric body. So that's why you see, I don't know if you ever seen somebody's about to die. They appear not to have an aura, you know, and it's funny because they either be a grayish green or green, or just a slight light around the body. But their skin and everything look distorted to you when you're looking at them psychically, because a part of them have already moved on. A part of the auric, the larger part of the auric body have already moved on, and the body is connected with some thin little light fabric type thing, and you know they're about to die. So, huh? No, it's just a residue of the life energy that's still there, but that person is about to die.
You told a story one time about the guy, the master who went into the elevator.
Edgar Casey.
No, he wasn't a master. That was Edgar Casey.
That's that case? Okay.
Yeah, some people say he was a master. I don't think it was, but yeah, Edgar Casey. That happened to Edgar Casey one time. Edgar Casey, he was getting ready to go into the elevator, and the elevator door opened up, and he looked in there, and nobody had an aura. So they asked him, was he going? He said, no, I'm not going.
Why would he stop the elevator from going though?
I guess he was stunned.
Oh, he probably didn't want to mess up, interfere with karma either, right?
And the elevator closed, and that elevator went down, and everybody died. I guess the cable snapped, and it plunged down to their death. So, I mean, that's that's a prime example, and there's many stories like that people tell.
Can a psychic who sees that be able to save them from that, or that's karmically predetermined at that point?
I mean, yeah, they're not going to listen to you.
Plus, you don't know,
I mean-
when they're gonna come, you just know that it's coming up at some point.
I mean, think about half of the stuff I told y'all when y'all got here. Did y'all believe anything I said? So you're not going to believe a person, and you begin to realize that you play it up in your head, and they think you're crazy. But that's something you notice about it. So we walk around in the auric body is the thing we take with us, and with us for eons upon eons upon eons.
So pretty much this is the drum we're doing? We're doing this?
What is that? But yeah, so that's it. Any other questions?
We're gonna get to lessons of more healing practices, right?
Oh, I did last year I did a long healing thing. It's online if you want to look at it or listen to it. I mean, we'll touch a little bit on it. Huh? We'll touch a little bit on it in here when we get into the psychic part of it, psychic development, but this is more Tantra.
It's all related though.
No, that's
Connect the dots as you go along.
that's what I've been doing. And I do notice and I do remember, and I do feel.
Any questions on it?
Tools, yeah. I see the people with the tools and everything. I'm like a watcher. I'm like the practice zone.
What keeps coming to class?
That's what I'm doing. Because I've seen and I've felt what you can do. Perfectly you can. I call this a Lazarus effect. You take everything out of your body, you open it out.